Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with another Final Fantasy Commander deck profile with Sephiroth, Fallen Hero. For 5 mana, he has 7/5 creature. That makes all your other modified creatures into 7/5s as well when he attacks. A modified creature is anything with a counter on it, so since he's attacking, he'll put a cell counter on something, making that creature into a 7/5 essentially. It also counts equipment on those creatures, so maybe we just start off with a little 0/0 on something like Flare Husk, but it turns into a 7/5. Really good value there. And then you can also sacrifice a modified creature in order to get that him back from the graveyard, in order to get around that commander tax. So the main focus of this deck is to have those artifacts and equipments that will create us those little tokens, to make those little tokens into big tokens with his ability. Because even if something starts off as a 1/1, with his ability, it's base power toughness 7/5, so we'll still get that +2/+2 on top of that 7/5. We'll also be going into some of the +1/+1 counter synergies with this deck, just because it does help them out a whole bunch. And we have a whole bunch of things that enable haste in order to make sure he can attack the turn he comes out, in order to get those cell counters onto something right away. We do also have a second Sephiroth Fallen Hero deck profile that will focus more on the +1/+1 counter side of things. We built that one for under 100, so that's more of one of our budget brews. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel to stay tuned for that one. But let's get into this one card by card. We have Arcane Signet because of course we need the mana. Batterbone, it has the Living Weapon ability, giving you that 0/0 token, which is essentially a 7/5 token, that gets +1/+1 Vigilance and Lifelink, giving you that free 8 life. Batterskull, Living Weapon, once again, starting with 0/0. The creature gets +4/+4, Vigilance and Lifelink, basically the same exact ability, just a little bit more stats on that one. Bitterhorn, in order to get you those lands out of your deck, along with having that Living Weapon ability. Having the Living Weapon is really useful in this deck because you don't need to pay the equip cost in order to get Sephiroth's ability to sacrifice it, and then you could always re-equip those equipments back onto Sephiroth or another creature that needs them. Bladehold Warwhip, it has the 4 Mirrodin ability, giving you a 2/2 Rebel creature token, and it also makes it so that your other stuff is cheaper to use the equip cost of for each equipment you control. And equipped creatures you control also have double strike, which is really useful, especially when you're swinging with big stats. And, Sephiroth swings in once, he has 7/5. Then if you get double strike on him next time, he has that 14. Bloodforged Battle Axe deals combat damage to a player. Create a token that's a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. This one doesn't create a token, but does give you pretty good stats. Gives you plenty of equipment to put in plenty of things at a certain point. Boots of Speed, giving that haste onto Sephiroth so he could attack the turn he comes down. Buster Sword, because, it's canon that Sephiroth has a Buster Sword right there. But what it really does is whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, they may cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. So we have a few things that'll give it flying, trample, double strike, just things that people tend not to want to block. But, it's something that's equipped with Buster Sword while Sephiroth's on the battlefield and it's attacking. That's a 10/10. That's 10 free mana off something. You cast something like Esper Sentinel. It's definitely less than 10 mana. Corey Steel Cutter. This one will keep getting you those tokens, keep giving you something modified. Also, most of the things in this deck aren't that expensive to cast, but so you'll normally get more than one spell a turn. But it definitely helps out getting that free modified creature, something free to get Sephiroth back. Dragonwing Glider, giving a creature flying haste. Also has the 4 Mirrodin ability, giving it a +2/+2, making, use 5 mana for a 9/7 with flying and haste. I think I'd take that deal. Dragon's Lance, equipped creature has +1/+0 and has a knight in addition towards other types. We mostly use it for a job select ability, giving us a 1/1 creature token. So, job select 1/1, 4 Mirrodin 2/2. Living Weapon 0/0. That's a main focus of this deck. And then during equipped creature has flying as well, making it easier to swing in, easier to deal that damage with that Buster Sword there. We just did that one. Fellwar Stone for a little bit of mana there. Flare Husk, giving it just a 1 mana little something to sacrifice with Sephiroth in order to get his ability early off, where we don't necessarily want to use, something that costs 7 to get him back, because we may as well just pay the commander tax at that point. Glimmerlands, 4 Mirrodin, giving you a 2/2 equipped creature and at least one other creature attacks, so normally the equipped creature on Sephiroth. You get to draw a card. Drawing cards is always nice. Hex Gold Halberd for the 4 Mirrodin ability. Quick creature has first strike and trample, making you able to deal that damage, making you, get a little bit of commander damage, a little bit of first strike, making it hard to block, along with making sure that you get the damage on. 4 Mirrodin on Hex Gold Hover Wings in order to give it the +1/+0 as well, along with the flying, making it easy to swing in with the 8/5. Cauldra Complete, Living Weapon, Indestructible, +5/+5, making something into a 12/10. Trample, Indestructible, Haste. Equipped creature deals damage to an opponent, exile that creature. So, I mean, it is like one of those things where you do potentially have to send Sephiroth to the command zone if you use this on him. But you do start off with a free 5/5, which turns into a 12/10, which could be a lot of damage. Kemba's Banner, giving you the 4 Mirrodin ability. Equipped creature has +1/+1 for each creature you control. We do run quite a few things that will enable us to have tokens in this deck, so we're going to be at a certain point where we're going to have a whole bunch of creatures, despite only running 13. Where were we? Past the... Yep, there we are. Lightning Greaves, once again, we want Sephiroth to attack the turn he comes down, so let's make sure he can do that. Machinist Armor, job select, giving you that 1/1. Creature gets +2/+2 for each artifact and artificer you control. So, I mean, we run... how many? 31 artifacts in this deck total, so you could potentially get 62, giving you a... 69, 67 with this deck. That'd be pretty nice. Mandibular Kite, giving you +1/+1 flying, giving you an 8/6 that will just be flying over your opponents for 1 mana, essentially. I take that deal. Mind Stone for that little bit of mana we'll just need. Most of our stuff does use a lot of like colorless mana, so helps us out a whole bunch there. Analysis, +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. Like I said, we run 31 different artifacts in here, giving us potentially a +31/+31, making that creature that we're talking about with Machinist Arsenal into a 100/100 or 198. Paladin's Arms, giving us that job select ability, giving us that free token. +2/+1, War to 1, Knight in addition to other types. Just a little bit of protection on this one, but mostly it's just something that's cheap to sacrifice. Samurai's Katana, equipped creature has +2/+2, Trample and Haste. Once again, we like enabling Haste. We like Trample in order to deal that damage, so we may as well do both. And this will essentially be a 9/7 for Dre. Soul Ring for that mana, and Swiftfoot Boots. Once again, we like Haste in this deck. And then on to the creatures, we have cards like Akiri, Fearless Voyager. Equipped creature deals... whenever you attack a player with one or more equipped creatures, draw a card. So we just need a little bit of draw power, get those extra enchantments out of our deck and into our hand. May unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. A little bit of protection, maybe you'll make something back into a 0/0, but protect Sephiroth in the process. Cloud, Midgard Mercenary, get that ability that you want out of your deck into your hand. Get that artifact out of your deck and into your hand. Not an ability. And he does also double the abilities of your artifacts that are equipped to him, but you're not going to really have many in this deck. It's mostly just for that search power for him. I mean, he is also $25, so like I always like to say is like, if you don't want to run a $25 card, don't run a $25 card. Run the 35-cent card. Enduring Courage, giving your creatures haste. We like to see it, giving them +2/+0, making them instead of 7/5s, we are now 9/5s, which is an even better ability. Envoy of Ancestors, modified creatures control of lifelink. We're going to have modified creatures. We may as well have them have an extra ability in that lifelink there. As for Sentinel, we have plenty of artifacts in this deck. He's an artifact creature, giving us that extra draw power when our opponents cast stuff, along with also making it so they may have to pay more than just the one if we get an equipment onto him. Furion, Wild Rose Warrior, equipped creatures you control of haste. Love to see it, especially because that means that all those tokens we have that are now entering with haste. Whenever non-token equipment you control enters, create a token that's a copy of it, except it has its equipment's equipped ability is 2 less to activate, which is, most of our things will just be free to equip at that point, especially if we have Blade Hold War Whip. Lightning Army of 1. We'll also be probably seeing the deck profile for this one tomorrow. Spoilers. First strike, Trample Lifelink, making so all of our creatures deal double damage. The thing that's nice about that first strike is that this creature will deal damage first, and then all your 7/5s will be swinging in after that, allowing you plenty of extra damage, giving you 14. Lion Sash, +1/+1, counter onto your creatures, just giving us extra modified creatures, along with this being equipment itself. Machias, the Lunarch, give us this little +1/+1 counter synergy, allowing us to move those around while we're at it. Pure Steel Paladin, making sure we could equip our stuff onto other stuff, because, once that token dies, the equipment stays around, but we need somewhere to put it. Sram, Senior Edificer, a little bit of draw power there. And then Zac Fair enters a +1/+1 counter, making it easy to either sacrifice Zac Fair with Zac Fair's ability, or sacrifice Zac Fair with Sephiroth's ability. We're on Dean. Feldar Retreat, giving our creatures either those +1/+1 counters, we're giving them the modified ability at that point, or giving us extra tokens, or to have extra things to sacrifice. Rising the Day, once again, we love haste in this deck. We want Sephiroth to be able to attack the turn it comes down. We want all of our 7/5s to be able to attack the turn they come out before we get board wiped. Cigar's Aid, we can flash in our equipment in order to make sure that we don't need to wait, make sure we have something to protect ourselves with. They don't stay 7/5s during our opponent's turn, so that's something to watch out for, and that is the only thing. And then you could also flash equip your stuff as well. But let's scroll on over to the second half of the deck. There we go. Yep, there we go. Alright, and we have our instance. We have Battlefield Inspiration, +2/+2 until end of turn. Attach any number of equipments to it. Sometimes we just need that final thing that'll swing in and win us a game. Boros Charm, give our stuff indestructible. We want some of our stuff to stick around so we have it there to sacrifice. Call the Coppercoats, giving us this 1/1 creature tokens, giving us plenty of things to sacrifice. Chaos Warp, remove our opponent's stuff. We don't want it sticking around. Clever Concealment, once again, we want to protect our own stuff. Dawn's Truce, protect our own stuff. Duty Bound Death, protect our own stuff, along with giving those +1/+1 counters, making them into modified creatures. Path to Exile for that removal. Protection Magic, giving them shield counters, which will protect them, along with making them modified creatures. Seize the Waste, plenty of creatures to put those equipments onto, which will then, they won't be 1/1s for long. Stroke of Midnight and Swords of Plowshare for a little bit of removal there. We always go into lands last, like I always like to say. You don't have to spend $100 on lands. You could run basics and Evolving Wilds if you want. Planeswalker, we have Elspeth Stormslayer. Since we're making the tokens, we may as well make the tokens. We can make double the number of 0/0 tokens if we really want to. But yeah, we create 1/1 soldier tokens, put the +1/+1 counters, giving us those modified creatures with that. And then, at a certain point, we just destroy certain stuff our opponent controls. And then for sorcerers, we have Steel Shaper's Gift for that search power, Requisition Raid for those +1/+1 counters and a little bit of removal there, Collective Effort for those +1/+1 counters and a little bit of removal, Blasphemous Act for a board wipe, same thing as Austere Command. But that's the deck there. If you like to leave it down there in the comment section, your deck profile, I'd definitely be happy to check that out. But thanks so much for tuning into the channel. Hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for another one. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.